Bottom line is, this has to end. Y'all need peace. I need peace. Whoever God decides to give peace, he will give peace. He will either allow my martyrdom or he will kill all of y'all one by one, dropping like dominoes. I will admit that this is going to result in lifulaka or lalona or both. No matter what's never going to happen. Comprehend this much is my capitulation to both Satan and balona, because herein lies the deal. I have embraced the pearl of great price. I am going to heaven when I die. So death has no sting on me. Do you understand? Marlona le healing. So ntwa e hayo fela ka lifulaka or lalona. It's going to end with me still being okay and all of y'all just finishing yourselves off. But I will admit this much. Linkimetse kamolo okotsi wa satani. And I'm not going to go so far as to say because I don't know. All I know is that sometimes we are persecuted unto death. That much I'm certain of. So I can't even sit here and proclaim the things of heaven and say, I'm not going to die. This is not going to end my life. I don't have certainty of that. But I am certain that to live is Christ, but to die is gain. One thing that is truest of this whole thing, the one thing I am certain of, even though I am not certain if I am going to live to the age of 41 or 42 or 43, one thing I am certain of is that I will never be with any one of y'all Gorobela junkies, and I will never ever grovel and beg at the feet of some filthy witch that gave me a job and rescinded it. I will never ever capitulate to any of y'all's gangster monstrosities busting in South Africa. I will never. Do you understand? Mar, on my way out, I have a situation in Hlongwane. I'm gonna die fighting you. Ko le lwantsha hore le lo hlaswa hanga tlhokafala la nkutla. Halo ba right. Lifulaka lo lentsha ka ditswape le dibonga halo gona le go mboloka ka straight face. That much is a guarantee. Ke tlo lwana for bophelo ba ka la nkutla. I am going to fight like a dog for my life. I'm going to fight, and when I fight, I am going to succeed to humiliate you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Kolentsa ka every ounce of energy in me. Yon kepa gube clear at my funeral. Ukuthi ningibulele. I am going to make it. It's not. You're not gonna get away with it. With this, you are not going to get away. Got this thing that you are doing right now. You are literally never gonna get away with this. If you are going to eventually put me in a casket once and for all, lifulaka lo le hlaza ke admita hore ntho tse sa feleng di a tlhola ga ko ba spoko indefinitely. Mara ha ban lonkenya ko lekasing ke tla be ke le lwantshitse so much, ke le ntshitse di bruises so much. I will have so humiliated you and disgraced you so voluptuously that you will not even be able to successfully have a funeral without shame just falling on you. I am seeking the Lord's face desperately to save my life. Do you understand? I don't want to die like this, but I also understand that as a Christian, it's possible to die from persecution. So if at all this must result in the end of me, gauge that this is war, it's on. Do you understand? We are finally officially fighting unto death now. I am no longer trying for your gangster souls. You're freaking lost, you're reprobate, it's over. You are not going to heaven when you die, you're going to hell. It's that basic. This year is not going to result in your redemption. I get it, I accept. I absolutely 100% bloody acknowledge that haosana pholoso mona viable for any of you monsters. So seeing as this is a trial by ordeal, seeing as this is going to send us to eternity, I am officially declaring war on the kingdom of darkness with the hope that I survive. Seeking the Lord's face to live to see another day. Impa, with the acknowledgement in my bones that I might not live. But one thing I'm not ditching is Christ. Lentsha etshirianeng editshila ya mamina ya dinkonkodi eloyang every tigging lies strating engamfuni ngenkani qhele ngekorobela masepa alona kaofela ke ale ka tlholaganya wa nkutla. You even made me swear ha ke tlo wanka in my stride la nkutla. I will never accommodate any of y'all, any ke re le hate You will never see me letsatsi le fitlhile where I am going to finally get jole le a rapist la nkutlo le khale ntse le ba kata basadi ba mo South Africa mo kaofela dalani ba ngdlwengula laba taking all these women ba sa tsebeng Jesu. You've been taking them one by one, dropping them in the ground ntse le ba bulaya ka gender based violence hambani. Maranna, I am not going to go out without ntwa la nkutlo. I am not. Angizothathwa mina ke tsunami, a wave of insanity nje fela la emgaqweni la hlanya man litsubile mantekwane la hlanya ha ke tlo nkwa nna ke anything nje fela tsirianeng mo strateng because I feel like insofar as ke sentsene ke tlhophegile there's still a shot. I know, shame. You will indeed hear of lifu like a fast and furious before nna ke tlo nka ntjayane tsirianeng mo strateng e tlwaetseng go rape basadi le tlwaetse. It's what you're into. You are rapists le kopane and you've got women ba le thusang ho lokile rolwana ho be o tlhokafalwe mo strateng mar it's going to be a long drawn battle. It's gonna stretch. It might be a year, 2, 3 before I finally am out. Mara by the time I finally pass away from this thing, shame. Not even a single one of y'all is gonna be able to stand Kolifunak. I'm gonna make it impossible for any of y'all to attend my funeral, say a speech. I am going to make it impossible for any of y'all to claim that you are my family, that you loved me. It's going to be Ken Meningi Zonda. You will be tempted, rather inclined, rather than bury me. You will let me be a Jane Doe of the state. You will let me be a state Jane Doe rather than claim my body. Why? Because it's going to be too damn humiliating for you to claim my corpse and bury me. Batang ashara in bang amogele ha ke tata o tlhokafala mara le fulaka ha le tlo gona family la nkutlo di chomi ka ofela le kopane ha le tlo gona ho tla ha le tlo gona. This is an official war. I am declaring an official war la nkutlo. I am declaring an official war because ke le zamme redemption didn't work for you. Ayisebenzanga ngiyenzamile libe senza nile busy bathong cousin ena ya go lawyer hore ke lo mongenga o bozo mbadi best le engwe ya rona cousin ha o ka tseba o ngzamenga cancer. Like, yeah, she's been trying to knock me out. One of her first ever rituals on me was a human sacrifice. It didn't work years ago. So I've got one cousin that's trying to kill me ka cancer ka ditlhare. Now I've got another one who batlang gore ke mongenge. The same one who batlang gore ke mongenge ke lorile the other day a shebile a headstone of mine, not a headstone but a plaque on the floor. Yeah, like go mabitleng. Karabo 1984 08082. Ke tlhokafetse. Elora a tseba na tseba hore she contributed to my death. A shebile fela. She's not even going to be able to go lifung la ka lankutlo. Ha ba tlo kgona go attend. I've got cousins that ripped carpets from underneath my feet. I have got family member immediate family, extended. They're all that's wrong with South Africa. That participated in the mutiny against my life. Anyone in my family. I will be a state Jane Doe by the time I die. Do you understand? I am going to fight for my life. Jobs. I am going to continue to try and get out of this. I will pray, I will fast. All I do is fast. I'm always fasting. I'm presently in a fast stopping for like 2.5 months now. I took a break of like 4 days in the middle when I was on my period, and then I went back to fasting again. I will keep fasting, I will keep praying, I will keep petitioning heaven for my rescue. I will do that. And this year, like I said, it's going to be long drawn. It is going to be long drawn. From today, 19th of September. From the 19th of September, I'm gonna fight. I'm probably still gonna be here in 2025. I am not passing away this year. I've still got too much damn energy. Do you understand? To die. I've still got too much energy. But at some point, this will finish me off. This year is not sustainable. Situation in 10 years. I'm so it's not going to last 20 years. But it's also not going to last just 10 years. And if I win, hallelujah, praise the Lord. I will successfully have come out of this right. Do you understand? Mara, if this ends my life, you are not gonna bury me. I will literally be cremated by the state or donated to science, but you are not going to be given the opportunity. Especially not after one of y'all try to give me cancer, not after one of y'all try to force me to copulate, fornicate with some animal, especially not after you helped my ex-boyfriend get away with murder, especially not after you took away my husband, especially not after you took away my career, especially not after you took away my everything that is viable. Every carpet that's ever been underneath my feet, you've pulled it. I will admit this might result in that. To live as Christ, but to die as gain. But I'm going to fight until you can't show your ugly, freaking menacing faces at my funeral. Even as family members, you are not going to succeed. Because I am going to make this a spectacle out of you. A spectacle. If you think as at this date, going forward, we still got years. I've got mileage on me. I'm strong. I'm Herculean. I am strong in ways you can't freaking fathom. So even though I'm hurting today, bottom line is, because I get more rapid. I'm always just praying off all of your crazy. That's what's good. I'm always praying off all of your crazy. I'm always breaking out into the sunshine after a season of spiritual war. So it's going to be an ebb and a flow, on and off, a peak and a trough, a peak and a trough, a peak and a trough. I am always recovering from an exquisite amount of witchcraft attack after it comes at me. So even though today I am severely inebriated, comprehend that yesterday I was more inebriated than today. Mabane, I couldn't even walk around. I couldn't even moisturize my face in the morning. And the way it was so bad. Today it's better. Why? Because I slept at 8:30 this morning just praying in tongues all night long. I'm in a fast nochal. So whatever it is that you have placed on my chest, it's lifted. But there is a new batch of psychotic nightmares that I am now enduring, telling me that I'm probably going to recover, following recovery of which I'm then going to find myself suffering again. It's just going to happen like that. So given that I get given respite, given that I get given reprieve, I will not be feeling like this for the whole week. I'm probably going to be maybe tapering down tomorrow, and then maybe on Sunday I'll be right as rain and happy and smiling and singing again, and then on Monday I'm down in the dregs again, and then Tuesday a little bit better, Wednesday even better, Thursday top of my game, Friday down again, because I can't lose. You just keep investing and investing and investing. So carry on, right? And we will see how long this wave, this peak, this trough, until it gets to a point where I'm so flat that I can't push anymore. It's probably going to take years. I'm just saying, mazish. We are stunning. It's like the beginning of a fight. I've been fighting all this time. Yeah, but this time around, I am determined that this here should result in either my death or yours. My prayer is that God will survive me. If it doesn't, by the time I die, you're not going to be able to attend my funeral. But if you die, good riddance. Let me move inside. I am inside now, officially. Okay. So in the movie, alright, so you can understand how these witches operate. Look, y'all, I'm a child of God, okay? Let's just put that out there, but all of y'all just ain't. You're not born again. You are going to hell, it's clear. Look at what you have done to society. You have wasted your entire countries. Last night, I got a dream of some filthy animal crossing her fingers that I don't get what I asked for. Anyway, because of their hope that they are gonna get away with murder. The thing is, if you want to get away with murder, get away with murder. If you want to get away with destroying the life of your cousin, get away with it. If you want to go and cause cancer in your baby sister, like, you freaking get away with that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if at all you want to keep on human sacrificing family members, do you? Like, Papa, do you? Because herein lies the deal. That's your earth. That's your earth. That's just plain and simple. That's your earth. That's what you have created your world to be. You are ritualists. You are satanic. You're malevolent. Your families have been cut in half because you happened. La loya. And you take everything you want. Auna moto that can breathe in your company. And if that is all that you pride yourself in being, you literally get to have your bread buttered on both sides. Have the earth. Have it. Keep on getting jobs because you keep on sleeping in orgies with the whole board of directors. Keep on getting jobs. Keep on getting tenders. Keep on succeeding because you have sacrificed 3 of your friends. Keep on getting everything you want because you have killed your mom. Carry on. And then, while you're at it, keep on killing the only Christians in your families. that are standing in the gap for the family. Y'all, wait again, we're gonna talk. I have 2 homicidal freak cousins. I've got 2 cousins that are homicidal freaking animals. They are extreme ritualists. One is a guy, one is a girl. These menacing psychopaths. I have concerns about being eavesdropped on, but I need to carry on talking. Because this here work is the very thing that's going to make me survive the next 2 or 3 years with all of this plethora of abuse coming at me until I finally die. Or until I survive. We don't know. But we have just declared war. And I want you to understand what it is that you are fighting to maintain. What you are making exquisite war against the kingdom of heaven to achieve. What earth you hope you are going to succeed in converting into one that is in your own image. I want you to understand what it is that you're trying to preserve in so trying to kill me. Hlongwane, I'm a child of the living God, a blood-bought, born-again child of the living God. In a way that all of y'all just ain't. Okay? I'm going to heaven when I die. Meaning that I can advocate in heaven on behalf of earth. I can stand in the gap for people. Yeah. I can successfully stay a suicide spell, a death spell, never mind against me, but against other people. I have got power to overwhelm structures, do you understand, that are being erected by all of y'all that are trying to fashion the earth in your own gangster image. You destructive monstrosities, you. Listen, I've got 2 cousins in this family. What is this thing that you are trying to kill and what it means for you in the end? Like, if you got what you wanted, there would be no earth left. Mara let me tell you about this situation. Seeing as you are hard of hearing, I will keep on repeating myself time and time again, using the exact same stories. I've got 2 cousins that are homicidal psychopaths. They have no horses. They cannot hold them. They are far gone. They are extreme ritualists. One is a woman, one is a man. They're my peers in my generation. There's no one more evil than them in the family. They're extreme. Okay, sharp. Everybody else in this family, they are all about that nyaupe business, but they're not that extreme. They don't go to the nth degree of what these 2 go to. These 2 psychopaths are into human sacrifice rituals. They got to where they got in life by shedding blood. Okay, but I'm trying to explain to you guys. Why and why your attempts to kill abazalwane are futile. Because nani, sharp, nani in and of yourselves nizolimala. These 2 cousins, so you can understand there isn't a single I thought that this random psychopathic menacing cousin that rocked up here offering me some deadbeat job was a born-again Christian, but she wasn't saved. Because if I was not the only one, I promise you situation would not be ensuing like Jardine. Everywhere on the left and on the right, it wouldn't be this bad. Because there'd be enough prayer warriors standing in the gap. Marakili one sonor kele stock siela lien kele jan tlhaloganya gore ke ke preventileng. Yeah, been born again since 13 years ago. 2011 was when I got saved. Soon as I got born again, got straight into praying against all different kinds of random stuff, including for my own benefit, etc. Yeah, the Lord sees it fit to give me a spiritual gifting. That's the thing. When you're a seer, when you're a dreamer, when you get dreams and visions, you are going to be getting targeted by batho that don't want to be seen doing strange stuff. And I still don't like. The thing that gets me the most are the ones but then again, that's just a sad thing, right? Anyway, nonetheless, I am as persecuted as I am precisely because I have a spiritual gifting, something that witches cannot stand because they don't want to get seen. They want to go out there and live normal lives. They want to go out there and raise children and basically have their bread buttered on both sides. They want to be viewed as wholesome people. They also love to attach themselves to the kereke because that gives them a false reputation. They are like their father, the devil. That way, they masquerade as angels of light. So they tend to have a profession of faith, Christian faith on their tongues, while being completely satanic. A couple of them do, however, practice without church. They don't care to be known as religious. However, they do definitely care to be known as altruistic, philanthropic, charitable, essentially people that are good men and good women, even if they don't allegiance to any particular religion. They want to look good even though they freaking suck. All right, now that we've put that out there, I've got two cousins that I guess try to look good, but there is nothing good about them. One of them, however, is sort of kind of like a known criminal, so nobody is out here imagining that he's a good guy. However, the woman, everybody be out here thinking she's a regular human being, when no, there's no such thing as that. People do suspect her of darkness, but no, but you see, like I said earlier, these people have sycophants. They have got sycophants, people that blindly follow them even though they are not happy to be under that influence. People are not truly content to be under that influence, but they sit under it anyway because they're scared. The woman version of this like diabolical duo in the family has got a younger sister, almost habang, so much that even though she's got strong conviction that this life is not going to give, she's carrying on with it anyway, because as a sycophant, she's scared that her sister's going to bewitch her into oblivion and make her life like mine. These two homicidal creeps are into human sacrifice rituals, and the thing about human sacrifices is that they tend to demand of you, do you understand, when you're in the occult, likely the first person that they tend to demand of you to kill tends to be a member of the family. It tends to be somebody that is inside the family. So they will tell you, I'm your bulala, your own mother, your own sister, your own brother, your own father, whatever. And because they are impressionable and menacing and desirous to acquire wealth by any means necessary, they just do it anyway. So I have got two cousins that have on multiple occasions tried to kill my family members. The female and the male have at different spots in their blemished insanity tried to kill 1 or 2 or 3 of my family members. And each and every single time they target somebody for death, I dream about it. Gabon. And for years, I have been standing in the gap for the family to block deaths. Mafu, that would have inevitably happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? If I did not advocate for them, if I did not stand in the gap. I have dreamt about her sister in the casket. I've dreamt about her dad in the casket. Those are the 2 family members that she has tried to knock out. At that stage of which it became clear that because Nalemutu that is standing in the gap, so her occult organization was willing that she should then sacrifice somebody else. So she succeeded to kill a friend for a first human sacrifice. The guy is in the grave today, probably burning in hell, because I don't believe he died saved. Wabulaya Mutu, do you understand? So given that her occult organization was prepared to concede, given that there was a praying saint in the family, that she should kill a stranger, I do not know, all right, who else she has killed. I just know that she has killed a lot of people, because God is not giving me all of her victims, given that I don't have a vested interest personally in their survival. It would hurt me for family members to just keep passing away. It would decimate the legacy of this entire family for them to just keep dropping like dominoes. So I get told about the ones that she's targeting that are near and dear to me. Yeah, I therefore do not know who else she has killed. I just know that one of her first ever human sacrifice rituals was a friend, and it's a guy I know. It's a guy that we both knew. Mutual friend from back in the day, passed away because of that random female. That's what's good. But she's got more blood on her hands. But her occult organization, the people they're in, ultimately rose up and lamented and said, look, all of us have given a family member or 2. You're the only one that has not given a family member. So you need to get rid of this Christian in your family. She then went straight to work. They gave her ideas. They told her that do spells so as to either knock her out the way, kill her. She tried to human sacrifice me, by the way, so I've seen her dad and her sister dead, but she also tried to get to me. And in the dream where she was trying to kill me, she was sitting on top of my body. I was sleeping next to her in the same bed. Next thing, she climbed on my body and tried to stab me. I woke up and held her on some don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me. We wrestled until she finally gave up and walked out the room. I went and I told to her dad and my mom, and they both ignored me. Like clockwork, they have ignored me all these years. Every time I have lamented that I've got this menacing psychopath trying to kill me. That was her attempt at ending me. It did not work because I'm covered by the blood of Christ. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So when then she couldn't knock me out, she tried her dad. When she could not knock him out, tried the sister. When she could not knock her out, was given permission to then go on right ahead to kill somebody that is outside of the family, because I, Karabo Hlongwane, have put a hedge of protection around even those that did not stand on my behalf. Like people that did not protect me from her, and people that did not protect themselves from her. Yeah, I I have stood in the gap for them, but they still treat me like trash to this day. Like, y'all are gonna see flames at the great white throne judgment. Do you understand? You are going to understand just what God was doing through the body of Christ. Your hatred or your lack of appreciation for the Christians of these streets, you are going to learn a most horrible way that you were messing with the only people that minimized the damage that these psychopaths in these streets could actually do. All of these random attempted human sacrifices, when they fail at them, they always went outside. The guy cousin tried to sacrifice indiscriminately. Like there were, I had a dream of him once, a row, like it was paraphernalia of sorts, like sticks. It looked like matchsticks that I saw in my dream, and each matchstick represented a family member, and he would burn these matchsticks. When he got to my matchstick, it would not burn, and he kept on saying to himself, Karabo, what is it, Karabo? It's frustrating. Ultimately, he freaking gave up. Just like those matchsticks represented the life force of family members, such that by the time they were done burning, these people were supposed to be dead. And this guy, it was not just me, but there were several of these matchsticks lying next to each other, and he kept on burning one after the other, and depending on how, basically whichever burned out first would be the first of the family members to pass away in a human sacrifice ritual. So essentially what we were facing because of that cousin was back-to-back funerals. That's these people. We were facing back-to-back funerals, Ekaya, back-to-back, with this first person dying, and then just 2 weeks later another one, 3 months later another one, 5 months later another one, 2 years later another one. They remind me of Kimang Ndlovu, Rosemary Ndlovu. You know Rosemary Ndlovu, that psychopathic lady that killed all her family members for insurance and was speaking about how she wanted to khama her sister. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You know Rosemary Ndlovu. Go and look up that story of that woman. It's doing the rounds. Even international people covered that story on their channels on YouTube, speaking about the psychopathic lady that kept on taking out insurance policies on her family members and then killing them. These cousins of mine are like Rosemary Ndlovu, especially the guy Rosemary. He was burning us one after the other, and when it came to my candle, not my candle but little wick, it looked like a matchstick, that something that has a fuse that burns like a spark, you know, down until it's finished burning, and once it reached the nth of itself, that's when this person would pass away. So depending on which one he lit first, this family member would be taken out. And I saw him in my dream after doing that ritual and feeling frustrated that he couldn't even light mine at all. He couldn't switch it on at all. Well, the others did go on, but still to this day, we are yet to bury anybody. Why? Because I stood in the gap. I am the frustrating force here, do you understand? I don't know who would have died by now. We don't have a trend like Kaya of people just dropping like dominoes. You know, you have those families where people just die and they just die. Like the Mandela family. Yeah, Nelson Mandela was able to burn all of those candles. Why? Because he was unwritten king. There was no one in his family standing in the gap. There was no one standing in the gap. There was no one standing in the gap. So that is the power of a praying Christian. That is a power of even one in an extended family set. That is a power of even one believer in an extended family set. So this cousin was counseled by her occult organization to try to cause me to essentially do that which the Bible make it clear that if this happens, you can curse a person. The Bible says in Balaam's era, basically, if you can make God's people eat food sacrificed to idols, partake in sexual immorality, essentially just compromise, you can curse them. So I don't know how many times I've gotten dreams of this cousin shoving sexual sin down my throat, walking away from God. She's tried to make me apostatize from Christianity because she knew that was the thing that was blocking me from passing away. Why does this woman want me dead? Because she's always wanted me dead. I was her first ever attempt at a human sacrifice ritual, right? But more than anything, I am a hindrance. I am a hindrance to her desires to knock some family members out. Eventually, her occult organization went to her and told her, if you don't succeed to knock this cousin of yours out the way so you can get to other family members, we're going to take your wife, and not your wife, but we're going to take your husband, and we're also going to take your daughter, one of your daughters. So you're going to be left with only one other child. And y'all are going to have to bury both your husband and your kid. So either kill Karabo, succeed to make her apostatize, or we're going to take your husband and your child. So ever since then, this like random, ugly, menacing, creepy thing has been trying to knock me out because she doesn't want to lose her child and she doesn't want to lose her husband. But who has been helping the cause of that deadbeat husband and that child? Me. They threatened the lives of her husband and her child And I'm the one that has protected her husband from sudden death and the daughter. They don't know and they don't care to acknowledge ukuthi yimi even that's preventing their threats from succeeding. This woman is scared to lose her husband and child. She doesn't want to lose them. The condition is that I need to be knocked out, otherwise they're going to be taken out. And they still are alive today, breathing up and down, hopping these streets like kangaroos. And yet they are all still in concert, trying to bury me alive. This man has no idea that today he'd be weeping and gnashing his teeth in eternity. He has no idea that him and his daughter would be in the abyss by now, because nobody in that environment is saved. She's old enough to go to hell. Her child and her husband would be in hell if it was not for me, standing in the gap. That is the power of a Christian in a family, the husband of which is not even blood family. He is related by marriage. And yet I was able to stand in the gap for him anyway. So I protected this little menacing psychopath even from herself, even from her own rituals. I don't know, like, I keep dreaming about her. Wazama. She keeps trying. Like, I don't know why these witches think that they are succeeding to do anything where I am concerned. Because if I can block deaths from happening in the family, what makes them think they're succeeding to actually block job prospects? If I can prevent something so gargantuan as lifu, it means that the only reason I'm unemployed is because God has said so. God has agreed that should be a thing. It's a strong delusion. God has said, Karabo, you're not going to work. It's a strong delusion. Because, guys, like I said, if I can prevent a human sacrifice ritual from succeeding, I can bring down the strongholds of unemployment. But I'm still unemployed because God saw it fit to keep me unemployed. This here is God's decision and nothing else. I am able to overwhelm any stronghold. And if at all I am still in a grain, it's only because the Lord has seen the plots, the schemes, and the machinations, do you understand, of Satan as he's planning to coup heaven and is waiting rather for him to fill up a dossier of charges against himself that he might finally be kicked out of heaven once and for all. God is building a case against all of y'all, don't you see? He is building a case. This here situation, I keep wondering, am I gonna survive? Am I gonna die? What's going on? I need to leave. But I have God. People actively trying, like, to keep me so sorrowful that I will commit suicide when I'm the only reason why their families are still intact. My uncle's entire family is intact because of me. They don't know. All the way down to one of his grandchildren. My aunt, her son, rubbish, that's tried to knock a whole bunch of us out, causing so much death, that they were probably going to go and have some stupid umsebenzi to amadlozi. To say, kodwa why abantwana bethu bashona, your dlozi ain't going to do jack for ya. Christ is the only one that prevented that wick lighting menace and that matchsticks or whatever from succeeding, to a point of feeling frustrated that he couldn't even light my little matches. And I'm the only reason why my uncle's family is still whole, and yet none of them have stood for me. They're about to find out. So kimo baba tla umpulai. If I died, this they would all start to die because they are all freaking lost. None of them can successfully stand in the gap for anybody. Their parents would die, their children would die, their husbands would die. Everything on the left and on the right of them would start to just putrefy because they're crazy. In order for them to get a tender, they are to be sacrificing somebody's nephew. In order for them to get a 7 million rand contract, they're prepared to get rid of their sister. In order for them to, you get my point. So if mina ngashona, if this thing finally takes me out, they will finally be able to get their tenderpreneur status elevated through the blood of their sisters. They would start to die. They have no idea that because of me. Mara haseki hong lawyer. Haseki hong make sure I don't come up for air. They are investing tooth and nail. Do you understand? In keeping me poverty stricken. Basa tsebe. Hore bana ba bona ba hema kajeko because of me. Hore ha re so be mafung I4 in 1 year because of me. Hore ditwebanyana tse ithutse tletseng ka human sacrifice have had to go and sacrifice ngaphandle ukuthi thina singakhali la ejardini. Ba bolaile ka montle. They had to go and take other people's blood, friends, people I don't know, because I've put a hedge around my extended family. That's what a Christian means. And you think ukuthi mina living in a country like that, kimaswabi, living in so a crazy, menacing little baboon of a country like South Africa, where everything that can breathe in your family, in your circle of friends and your family, rape. You think I'm just going to go umuntu that does not have the kind of power that I have? You're not a cousin that tried to make me come back from 70. Hey, baton. Later, ghoster. was because the demons could help but do nothing but. Because Modimo na sa matli all up in my grill. She walked away. She thinks that she's got power to do a spell to make me go to her and beg. And yet I've got so much power that I made her ghost me. I made her utapumegim. One of her first spells that she cast on me was to make me get a baby out of wedlock. I'm gonna give her a job, and then also she's going to get a boyfriend, and she's going to have a baby. Like, she planned my life. It was all nicely laid out. And I prayed. I was like, get rid of her. And lo and behold, without me even saying a word, one ghost. She left. So all of these spells of yours that you keep on doing on some bring back lost lover, or make something go away, or make her quit her job, I have that power, but without having to cast a spell. I have the power to make somebody walk away from me. I have the power to make somebody because I want to forced to accommodate. Yeah. This bring back lost lover, this waza, this make a person do whatever. I, in nothing but the Holy Spirit, praying in tongues all day, all night, consecrated, maybe even fasting to Jesus Christ, holding fast to him, bridling my flesh, beating it to submission. That is all I need to do, without any strange rituals, without cutting up onions, without burning fenugreek, without burning sage, without impepo, without masapo, without misi, without any of that. Just tapelo, that alone. Tapelo and consecration to God. And with that, I achieve that which y'all just can't get right in the occult. Like this one colleague at MTN did a spell to make certain colleagues leave so she could get a promotion. That's a warding off spell. A hamba spell. Yeah, I didn't have to do a spell to ward off some pest in my life. I just prayed. Lenjale, I kwazanka. Ugo overwhelm, like God put in her so much envy, so much spite, and so much covetousness that upon me uploading content saying I got a job, she was like, over my dead body. I'm going to humiliate her. I'm going to embarrass her by rescinding the offer. I'm just going to ghost her. As I said, like a dog, because I saw that she was an imposter. On the first day that she rocked up here, the Lord showed me out of wedlock. A lawyer. That's what's good. Nothing but nothing but prayer. A witch was scattered using nothing but prayer. Why under heaven would I want to abandon God when I've got power to do that without sinning? When I've got power to make people manifest demons so that they will leave me alone. The guy in America, I was slithering his ugly, grubby, criminal fingers all up in my grill. Azangwa lasted 3 weeks. He didn't last 3 weeks. The power of a praying woman. Azanga lasted 3 weeks. Manifesta. He manifests so many demons. He was so rude. And even after we broke up, because naive, dumb, I was still trying to talk. We can negotiate. He ghosted me. I'm trying to help you understand that even when I was trying to fall apart, nothing could give. He ghosted me for so long that I got over him. And only once I got over him did he try to crawl his creepy, ugly, freaking criminal fingers back into my life. By then, I was already done. I was already healed. So he basically shot himself in the foot. He was a satanic man. He was a satanic man that came into the life of a Christian. And he couldn't sit. The demon is a rude. The ghost. I acted such a fool that I was given enough time to heal. After healing, only then wabuya, but by then I was so strong that he couldn't move me. He couldn't convince me to come back. Same thing happened with my ex-boyfriend. For years all throughout our relationship when I was lost. I get born again. Bring back lost love. He tried. Shem. Nothing worked. And in the beginning of the relationship, when we broke up, I was all broken and devastated. I gave you guys the story. Told you that I got born again because I was all bereft, mourning our breakup. One day in the shower, I'm out here crying out to God. Finally, I get born again. And the way that this guy was so rude to me, the way he was so rude, the way he was so Karabo, at that I was newly saved, but I was still possible to negotiate with. That's what I'm trying to get at. I was newly born again, but I was not sufficiently convicted of many sins and also of that relationship being all wrong for me. That if that dude had come back, put his tail between his legs and begged me to get back together with him, I'm down on bended knees, yeah, boys to men, I would have gone back together with him. I lost a lawyer. I busy throughout the relationship. I was gonna take that man back because I was yet to be, I was regenerated, but I was not yet fully, I was not sanctified. I was newly saved on spiritual milk and yet to grow into solid conviction of many things. So I was basically kind of impressionable in this season. And how did God protect me from myself in this impressionable season prior to me reaching solid conviction about spiritual principles? He made him rude. God made the guy rude. The Lord made him aloof, distant, removed, disinterested. Guess how long it took for him to come around and say that he wants me back, love back? 1 year. That ex of mine, I would break up with him. Like throughout our relationship, we were on and off, on and off, and on and off. A week was too long. He would be back within a week. The way in Jeffela, he just could not live without me. Beke was too long for us to be broken up, and we would get back together shortly afterwards. This time around, utate inyanga yonke jara. He took a year. Ah, shame. Aseke go fola. Aseke go heala. Aseke go overcome, recovery. I was not only in hospital in a coma, but I had gotten out, I'd done physiotherapy, and now I was jogging laps around an athletics patch despite having been allegedly disabled by a breakup. He gave me all that time to heal. Why did he give me all that time to heal? Because this time around he encountered someone that he could not fight. If God be for us, who can be against us? This time around, to brittle me. And this time around, my God, because he knew I was newly saved, yet to be solidly convicted of spiritual principles, and so therefore impressionable and likely viable to take back a man with whom I would be unequally yoked, that also would endure me through a marriage. Psychosis and just feel like the Lord is the one that then made him stomjani to let go of the best woman he ever had. And only after a year of me nicely recovering, fully healed, I'm now running laps around an athletics patch, like I said. Only after a year was he like, hey, can we talk? I was like, I know, it's cool. By then I was so hot for Jesus Christ that he was just obviously fluffy. He was never gonna win. Never gonna win. But then of course, why invest? Not only bring back lost lover, but make sure nobody else loves her. Wada fish paste. Understand this. I am not single because he did it. I'm single because God has done it. I am not unemployed because he did it or anybody else did it. I am unemployed because God did it. Because if the Lord can give me that kind of power to not only ward off wickedness, people in Jeffela are going to walk away from me that are later going to be like, Karabo, please, get that again, because now I've healed. That same power has got power to give me a job. That same power has got power to give me a husband and some children. That same power has got power to essentially make sure this witchcraft does not work. So if at all it looks as though I'm under spells or under curses, it's only because it's a strong delusion. God is like preparing a case. He has amassed for himself a dossier of evidence against these people that he's finishing off. So labantu in my family, banza bali busy kanna, banza batseriane, nse bang lawyer, babe bang loyolo, thinking that I need them. They're naive. If this year is going to result in my martyrdom, it's only because God has allowed for my martyrdom. If this year is going to result in my recovery, it's only because that's what God was planning. And at this present juncture, I'm not really sure which one it is. I need the bathroom. I'm back. So yeah, the insanity is alive. It's real. And frankly, this is war, okay? This is complete war. Keep on trying to kill Christians in your families. Keep on trying to kill them in your offices. Keep on trying to get them fired from jobs. Keep on and see what is a world without them. Like the one believer that passes away in your family from cancer. Next thing after they have died, 20 other people in the family are here passing away in a space of 2 years. Hambani. Like, yo, you create ghost towns out of your own families. I don't know how many, Yazi. It is so incredibly grieving to watch TikTok sometimes when I'm doing my thing in the morning, just kind of floating around, maybe even sitting on the toilet, and I'm scrolling through videos on TikTok. Y'all, like, yes, in South Africa is reeling. I'm sorry, witches, like, I will say this time and time again, literally nobody likes you. You are unlovable. You are menacing. You are disgraceful. And when people find out what you do to them, they consider you the thorn in their flesh. No one wants to be controlled, and no woman wants to keep on freaking miscarrying pregnancies, only to find out that the deadbeat husband did it. Last week, Friday, today is Thursday, I was watching a video on TikTok that broke my heart. A woman was doing a face beat, and she was doing a story time while doing her makeup. And her story time was about how it is that she knew that her husband was a ritualist. Long story short, no need to tell you the whole story. This woman miscarried 5 pregnancies before finally carrying twins to term. And after birth, the one twin died. She then suffered from a severity of post-traumatic stress disorder and postpartum depression, etc. Then she went to a church as she was invited by one of her friends. And at this church, she was prophesied over and told that her husband is a ritualist, and that's why she's been losing babies. She got scared to let her husband know. Eventually, she mustered up the courage to ask him, and he flat out came out and confessed that, yes, I did sacrifice 6 of our babies, but I let you keep 1, didn't I? That was his response. He basically said something along the lines of, they were not born, mus. They were not around, mus. It's not like I killed a 6-year-old or a 25-year-old or a 16-year-old kid. They were in the stomach. So big whoopee, boo-hoo. Look at the house that we're living in. Those kids bought us the house. Yeah, stuff of abortions, right? The pro-choice movement. When you have no regard for life in the womb, you be out here telling a woman that has miscarried 5 times and lost a baby once born. The baby then became stillborn. You be telling her at least you never got to love her as a mom. She's a Zambian woman, so she says that apparently in Zambian culture, if at all a baby has not lived past a certain age, they don't get buried. I don't know what they do with them, but they don't get buried. So she could not even have a funeral due to the fact that the baby had yet to reach a certain age and there was no closure. This here was eating her alive. She was bereft, she was mournful. But the little ritualist satanic beast for her husband looked at her on some, fine, so I'm doing rituals, but don't you have a house? Fine, I'm doing rituals, but don't you have a car? Fine, I'm doing rituals, but I allowed you, look at that God complex, to keep 1 child, didn't I? You're a mom now, so be mom. That's one of the story times. That is Africa for you. That is what these monsters are. And I'm expected me nokuthi ngiyochata injenjalo. Ezovela ithatha imithi yami etlongela ngidimpa. Etlongenza ngore ke feel or seeing as I am over the age of 35 and pregnant. It's because I've got a high risk pregnancy. That's why I keep miscarrying. So I have to be monitored very closely. I have to be closely monitored. Meanwhile, I would have been like Sarah and carried a healthy baby to term. But no, I decided to go and marry some freak. And with me knowing that that's the kind of stuff that people in the occult do, I'm expected to be so fra from having no money that I will let a man marry me that is a ritualist because, hey, at least nginendlu. Yeah, but I also have like 10 miscarriages. That is your country. What I'm trying to explain to you guys is that if at all that is the world you feel is feasible, where you just go rip and abort babies from your women's wombs just for the sake of getting a new tender, what the heck circus are you running that you think nobody is going to intervene against? What kind of diabolical, menacing circus of an act, of an earth, do you think you're running here? Because you thoroughly think that you run the earth. You keep on causing women miscarriages. You're sacrificing family members. You are like, what the heck? All in the acquisition, how dumb are you, of things that are not even all that meaningful without people. Wealth, when you have all the money in the world, but you don't have love, whatever. The one thing that we really want is love. And when you don't have it, imali, it's just like in your mouth, ash. It's like ash in your mouths. It's dust. If anything, God uses this example time and time again and that's the reason why yeah, you satanic men. This is how God compares you. In the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, there is this thief pirate guy by the name of Captain Barbossa. Captain Barbossa. The whole Curse of the Black Pearl, Pirates of the Caribbean, is premised around the pirates that stole Jack Sparrow's Black Pearl, otherwise known as ship. They stole some forbidden gold. They stole some forbidden treasure. And this treasure was cursed because of the fact that if you stole it, you would basically be eternal, but without being able to enjoy the pleasures of the earth. You wouldn't be able to eat and satiate your thirst. You wouldn't be able to sleep and actually rest. You wouldn't be able to, etc. So basically they were like zombies walking around. When they ate, food just goes hollow. And the moon that shines on their bodies is what exposes them for the dead men that they are. They therefore got sick and tired of this treasure that was accursed, that made it impossible for them to eat and be satiated. So they wanted to recover their treasure to the chest so that they could regain their humanity and so eat and be filled and so do what they need to do and be satiated essentially. In one scene, Captain Barbossa says to Elizabeth that you have no idea how long I have longed to basically feel a woman on me, touch a woman, stroke a woman, because right now food turns to ash in my mouth. The stroke of a woman feels like nothing. I cannot get full And the first thing that I'm gonna do, as he said it to Elizabeth, and then he said it to Jack Sparrow. He's like, the first thing I am going to do, as he is busy throwing an apple in the sky and then catching it again, up in the sky and catching it, is as soon as the curse of the black pearl is lifted from him, he is going to eat a bushel of apples so he can satiate his hunger, because he is cursed from stealing the treasure of Cortez.